Hey there guys, so right now we made it to the lake and I'm inside of the mobile forecast center. I'm in the vehicle right now. I'm gonna go ahead and step outside, and when I tell you the winds are pounding out here, we'll go ahead and take a look. The winds are really picking up. We are dealing with tropical storm force winds right here at the lake. Look at this storm surge, guys. The water has significantly come up over the road there. You can see it just pounding the stairs. The winds, look at the trees. I'm getting blown away. The winds are so strong right now, guys. Look at the waves just popping up over the ledge.
And we're also hearing Paul Murphy is also seeing some of the effects of this storm as well. He is in St. Bernard Parish, where there has already been some storm surge. So we're going to head over to Paul Murphy right now.
We are being pelted by heavy winds and rains here along Bayou Bienvenue in the Chalmette area. We are in probably the thick of it right here.
Traveling into Metairie and then going across into Kenner as well, we start seeing a lot of fences in people's properties that are being blown off. And again, the situation right now, it's difficult to tell. And as I heard Karen with her earlier on, it is very difficult to get a sense of where the level of damage is right now, because as we're losing light, as you can imagine, we don't have much power out here. It's hard to tell the level of damage and the amount of damage that Ida is now unleashing onto JP, but there was a significant amount of damage in kind of street signs and trees and also fences that were coming down as we were reporting about an hour and a half ago.
So it really has not changed in the last hour. And again, with it remaining so close to the Gulf waters and to the marshes of Terrebonne and Lafourche, you know, this isn't the scenario we want to see. Hopefully in the next couple of hours we'll begin to see a little bit of a motion to the north a bit, but in the short term this is certainly not what we wanted to see.
Katie, thank you so much. I'm here in New York City. I came here to drop off my daughter for college and essentially got stuck here because the flights were canceled. My heart is in Louisiana, so I have been making calls, and there is a very precarious, tenuous situation that is unfolding in Metairie right now at the Metairie Towers condominium complex. For those of you familiar with Old Metairie, that is right across the street from St. Francis Church. I am hearing from the Jefferson Parish Fire Department. Sources in there have confirmed that at least part of the roof has blown off, and there are 30 or 40 residents, most if not all of whom are elderly, who are there. And this is part of the tragedy, that they cannot get to them. Only one firefighter, one district chief was able to brave this weather and get there, but he's only one man. The priest across the street at St. Francis has said, you can bring those people over here, but the winds are so bad they cannot subject the residents to the weather. So you've got 30 to 40 people that are trapped in the Metairie Towers. That is a building, according to their website, that houses 219 individual condos. There are 7 stories tall. And again, part of that roof has blown off. The wind, the rain is going in there. I talked to one firefighter who said, these are people that have pre-existing conditions. These are the vulnerable among us. Some of them are on dialysis. So this is an unfolding situation. I talked to our colleague, Tan Trung. He's in Metairie. He said he cannot get there. The winds are that bad. Tan weathered Katrina. He knows what is safe and what is not safe. And the fire chief, who was in position in Katrina, said these are the worst storm conditions he has ever witnessed.
Trying not to step on mine. It's really not cool. Catching some water, trying to clean my closet today, and now everything's on my bed. And it's destroyed. The insulation is soaking wet, as you can see. It's heartbreaking. I have 2 girls, 2 chihuahuas, and my husband. My little girl is autistic and she's really scared. Let me show you the next room. coming straight out of there. If you touch the curtains or anything, the bed is wet, just soaked.
Lafourche took a big hit yesterday. What kind of damage are you guys hearing down there?
Yeah, good morning, Eric. Yeah, definitely not loving that forecast.
No.
We're going to be without power for several weeks, just like many in your viewing area. Look, we've had pretty much catastrophic damage throughout, especially central area and obviously the southern area of the parish. Yesterday, I was stationed in Galliano for the storm at the Port Fouchon administrative office, and we were able to watch the camera systems as the winds started coming into Port Fouchon.
Yeah.
Once Ida got to Galliano, we had hoped to get a reprieve at some point, but the eye kind of took a jog to the west, and we got the eastern eye wall of the storm.
Yeah, you guys got hammered.
It felt like 6 hours.
Yeah, you got hammered yesterday.
It was definitely a nightmare, and so the Golden Meadow and Galliano area for sure. We have no idea really what the damage looks like. We know that it's going to be catastrophic damage, probably upwards into the Cutoff and La Rose areas. When the eye came back over Lafourche Parish, over the central area, in mainly Lockport, people were able to get out. We had some people with drones and taking footage of some of that catastrophic damage.
We're watching the building just fall apart here.
Yeah, and so more specifically, we had two hospitals. The one in Galliano, Lady of the Sea General Hospital, where you saw, most people have seen the video now of the roof flying off there. There was also significant damage to the hospital at Osner St. Anne in the Matthews area. So two hospitals. The good news is that they were able to stabilize the patients there, but they will be looking to move those patients out as soon as possible today.
We don't know the exact number of how many people did stay on Lafitte, do we?
Well, they had said yesterday that they thought about 500 people remained.
Then Sheriff Lapinto said maybe 400, and it just kind of
then
varied.
last night he had a press conference late, and he said on Sunday about 27 people were rescued. He said yesterday about 100 people were rescued.
Yeah, and he was saying a lot of people they were like, we're fine. We have water, we have enough food, we're just going to stay here. So yeah, I think we're going to have to wait a couple more days to get some final numbers on that. The good thing to know is those folks who want to get out, they're making every effort to make sure that they can leave.
And most of those homes are raised down there, and he was saying that the Jefferson levee system was fine. Lafitte has its own little levee system, but not high enough to stop the kind of surge they saw there. And Peyton, that was the big problem in a lot of these coastal area towns.
A lot of people talk about this is the worst storm they've experienced, and of course for the bayou parishes, the river parishes, this was much more significant impacts than Katrina, because when Katrina went by, they had a northerly wind down there on the river parishes, the bayou parishes, so the water was being pushed towards the Gulf, not coming in from the Gulf. So that's why the surge there was so much more significant during Ida than what they saw during Katrina, of course. Now for us, it was the complete opposite because we had a southerly wind in the New Orleans metro.
When we met them, they told us they needed supplies, so we drove them to a distribution site up the road. Like so many in the area, they'll have to start over.
This is our home, this was our home together, and we lost it.
It's smaller communities like Montague that Fontenot fears will be forgotten, creating a desperation she's never felt before.
It's like, I want to give up. I ain't gonna lie, I want to go on that bayou and jump in it and just end my life. I ain't gonna lie.
What can I assure you that you're gonna be okay? We're all gonna be okay?
We will, because God's gonna help us. This changed my life so much. You wouldn't believe it changed it.
Well, you've certainly changed mine. May I give you a hug? It's okay. We'll be okay.
Yeah, God's gonna help you.
For the past few days in Houma and Thibodaux, we've heard people saying they were hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And in this case, Ida delivered the worst. The sun came up Monday morning to reveal total devastation in the bayou parishes. Many trees down, countless wires down, countless businesses like this one totally destroyed.
I won't go through them power lines.
The front of Lesquan Longmire's house in West Houma was basically decapitated by Hurricane Ida. It's been in his family for generations.
We from the hood, so we used to dealing with certain things, you know what I'm saying? Now, Houma hasn't had this part of it, but, you know, just in life in general, every day is a struggle. Every day we struggle.
Much of what was inside got damaged by rain. Some of the toys he bought for his 2-year-old daughter are now in debris piles out front.
When she came, she didn't want to step foot on the ground anywhere. She looked at the house and, you know what I'm saying, the look on her face, she was devastated.
On the eastern side of Houma, we met 9-year-old Isabella Olin. She and her family waited in the heat to get a $100 emergency stipend the Mexican government was making available to Mexican communities hit by Hurricane Ida. Isabella says when they returned from evacuation, they discovered their home had been looted.
People came in all over the houses and robbed. For example, they opened all my stuff from school, and all my mom's wallets were open.
The sight is as staggering as it is devastating. A transmission tower in Avondale snapping in Hurricane Ida's winds. The twisted wreckage afterwards. The power lines, lifelines to the entire metro New Orleans area dunked into the Mississippi River. New Orleans City Council President Helena Murrow put the scene in perspective.
What I find unfortunate is that so often it takes something like this for changes to be made.
Entergy Louisiana CEO Philip May said the 400-foot tower that fell was robustly engineered and had just been inspected, but simply could not take the power of Ida.
Those towers, all of those towers, went through Hurricane Katrina without wavering. But this wind event experienced much higher wind fields, much more devastating wind to those structures and to our system than even Katrina.
But the catastrophic transmission failure Entergy says it experienced is more than this one tower and more than the corridor it's a part of, which feeds electricity from a larger regional power grid through this point at Avondale on the West Bank and onto the East Bank of Jefferson Parish at Harahan. May said all 8 transmission corridors that transmit power from the outside world into Metro New Orleans all failed. That leaves the entire area from St. Charles Parish in the west to the Twin Spans in the east and down the coast through St. Bernard and Plaquemines isolated with no power. Entergy even calls it an island. But May says Entergy cannot commit to a timeline. Moreno expects it could take several weeks.
I just want to be very honest with the people of New Orleans. I got off the phone with the Entergy engineers earlier today, and they told me that the assessment alone of the transmission failures, that alone could take up to 4 days. So up to 4 days of just assessing the damage before it could be repaired.
The line of people seeking help stretched on, curving around the Arthur Munday Center several hours before the relief began.
I was here about an hour before they were supposed to start.
People waited in cars, some came on foot, waiting in the heat for food and water. We met Miss Diana Estes. She couldn't wait to eat. It's been days.
I'm hurt, miss. I don't have nothing, nobody to help me. All my relatives stayed and gone. I don't have hardly nobody in New Orleans to help me. Nobody, I'm knocking from door to door begging for food in the place to lay my head. If anybody can help me.
Hurricane Ida forced the roof over her head to cave in. She's been sleeping on the ground in a shed ever since.
We be burning up. We wake up and sweat. We go to bed and sweat. We don't have nothing. We homeless. We very homeless. We don't have nothing. We need help in New Orleans.
With so many grocery stores either closed or empty, food is scarce. Councilmember Kristen Palmer organized this event in just 12 hours, partnering with area food banks to distribute 2,000 meals and set up a phone charging site.
We've never had lines like this, even at the very beginning of the pandemic, when people were really uncertain, So it's really incredible. You can really see the need.
She feared they'd run out of food early. People showed up nonstop for 4 hours. Wanda Jacks couldn't afford to evacuate.
The hardest part is I'm seeing my kids go through it. And when they fall asleep, I be crying like, Lord, please help us out of this situation. When is this going to be over with, Lord? You hear so many stories, but how long we going to be out of lights and stuff? and it's horrible.
Amid the suffering, there are givers trying to make things better. Even if it's just for a day, a hot meal is a temporary reprieve from the uncertainty that lies ahead.
And right now, workers are relocating some of those nursing home residents who evacuated here on Friday to escape from Hurricane Ida. We learned from the Louisiana Department of Health that 4 of these nursing home residents died after evacuating here.
Just wasn't enough room. Living conditions wasn't good.
We knew from the time we walked up in there that this was going to be tragic. All this was weighing on my heart, that these patients suffered. They suffered.
The worker says some residents stayed in wheelchairs for days. Lisa Renard, who you met last night, is one of them.
The way I knew I was in trouble, because I smelled decaying flesh. My leg had an odor that was smelling bad.
I didn't realize it was going to be as bad as it was. It's just real windy. It's the noise, the howling of the wind is what bothers you the most. You know, the house is moving. My house doesn't move much, just a little bit, not much. But you can't see nothing either because the wind and the rain is so hard and so heavy, you can't see nothing. I mean, you could look out here, you could kind of maybe tell where the water level was, but it was hard. I mean, it was like you were in the dark, really, because you were in the dark because there's, you know, the electric power went out and that was it. And just to see what happened was unbelievable. You see those slabs? See that slab? There was a house there. See behind it, there was another house. Next to it, right over here to the right of it, there was another house. And then across the bayou, you see them pilings over there, there was another house. So they're totally gone. The washer and dryer are actually in a bathhouse I had over here. It's totally gone. Here, look at that beam. That beam was over there. There was a whole floor in here. This was a shed. Yeah, I was in the house. I came outside and looked down. My stairs were gone. Hung around for a while thinking, well, somebody will come by. Well, nobody came by. And so I flagged down a Army helicopter. And he come over and landed over there and said, what's the problem? I go, I need a ladder. I can't get out of my house. And he said, okay, gotcha. If I knew it was going to be that bad, I probably wouldn't have done it.
WWLTV is partnering with United Way of Southeast Louisiana to help. We want to make sure people in our local parishes are getting that help they need. And a few of our friends from the Saints have joined the cause by donating and spreading the word. Take a look.
Why give? Because we're the New Orleans Saints. And this community, this New Orleans family, is a part of us.
We give because we have to stick together in our times of need.
We're partnering with the United Way of Southeast Louisiana and WWLTV to raise funds for Hurricane Ida relief to keep dollars local, right where the impact is needed most. Trust us, we're giving too, so we can get help to our most vulnerable families.
And that was Cam Jordan, Teron Armstead, and Malcolm Jenkins. There are 3 ways that you can help. If you're able to donate, you can either scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can go online. You can also volunteer your time and help your neighbors directly, and you can donate supplies at North Shore and South Shore drop-off locations.
The United Way of Southeast Louisiana now has $2.5 million for Ida relief, a lot of which has come from donations from Channel 4 viewers. The station on Tuesday added another $37,000 to that tally.
Well, it allows us to be boots on the ground. And we keep saying we're boots on the ground, we're moving at the speed of need. So we're taking supplies, we're getting them down in communities like Lafitte or Grand Isle or up in Tangipahoa. You know, we're trying to get people the things they need as quick as they can.
We all heard loud and clear the one thing that was really concerning for a lot of the people was that they would be forgotten. And, you know, we made a promise that we weren't going to do that.
It means everything because we're right here and we can go back and try to at least squeegee some more mud.
See what is going to be left down along the coastline is going to be very sobering.
August 29th, the other date that will live in infamy. Our coast invaded by a force so powerful as to leave much of it unlivable. Those who were spared ached for those who were not.
I want to give up. I ain't gonna lie. I want to go on that bayou and jump in it.
We as a region and a generation have been through this before, and we wonder why bad things happen to good people.
what we went through, no one should have to go through that.
The warehouse where humanity itself was packed in a box of despair. The unearthed coffins that unearthed newfound grief. An entire region left in the dark in a forest of downed trees and poles.
I done seen a lot, but this is a tough time for
Basic necessities, water, food, gas, power, scarce, while trash and debris boundless.
I was speechless, I was heartbroken.
At Whitney Plantation, it seemed as though Mother Nature tried to erase history, where a race itself fought so hard to survive. Why?
Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
Perhaps Louisiana is tested to remind us of the helpers among us.
I don't know what I would have done if they were not there.
The deputies who escorted a baby safely into the world in the midst of chaos. The haves who fed the have-nots.
I got me 10 pieces of chicken with some trunk fried rice. But see, it's very difficult for New Orleans right now. But we've been through this before.
Or perhaps we're tested to remind us of our sheer will. The shrimper who was thought to have perished survived Ida under his capsized boat. He's not going anywhere.
To me, it's the best place. Thank God I made it.
Whitney Plantation, this woman's ancestors built it. She will restore it. August 29th means something here. It means we've rebuilt before and will do it again thanks to an indomitable spirit. The spirit of Louisiana.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us as we mark 1 month since Hurricane Ida. I'm Karen Swenson. We have crews across southeast Louisiana, including Chris Franklin in the hard-hit areas of Jefferson Parish, and Katie Moore reporting on the recovery in Terrebonne and Lafourche parishes. But first, let's head to Cherise Gibson, who joins us live from St. John. Cherise.
I'm standing in the Pecan Grove subdivision, a subdivision that is still bearing so much evidence of the devastation that Hurricane Ida was. If you drive down the streets of this subdivision or even just take a look behind me, you still see what it looks like are now walls of debris. And these are family heirlooms, furniture, tree branches, trash bags that are sitting outside of people's homes, in the front of their homes, still waiting 1 month later to be picked up. But the people here, as you have said so many times before, they are so resilient, and they say that they are ready to return to their homes. In the meantime, they're still working to pick up the pieces 1 month after Hurricane Ida devastated this area. And when we talk about devastation, we have to talk about the wind gusts, 100 to 110 mile per hour wind gusts, 17 inches of rain. This is one of the hardest hit areas after Hurricane Ida, one of the areas that Governor John Bel Edwards once said was an area that experienced some of the heaviest rain. Of course, those winds bringing in that storm surge west of Lake Pontchartrain. So many people here have been impacted, and I can tell you, driving around in this area, there is not a street that has not suffered or not sustained some sort of damage, but so many people here are still coming back to their homes, even the ones who are still living in gutted homes. So of course, there's been some progress here. While this street may show that there is some devastation, we are starting to see some signs of light literally along the streets. Power is back and water is back, and some signs of change. I want to bring in my colleague Meg Ferris here. Of course, Meg has been covering some of the recovery efforts here in St. John the Baptist.
And I'll tell you something, Cherise, we were lucky in New Orleans, and we've all been saying that. When I come here to Laplace with our wonderful photojournalists, it smells, feels, looks, tastes like New Orleans did after Katrina. That's the best way I can describe it to people at home. But I loved when Karen just said the spirit of Louisiana, because the Saturday after the storm, photojournalist Niece Riggins and I came out here, and we met a guy named Harold, and we had to come back. Speaking of the spirit of Louisiana, we had to come back and see how Harold was doing.
Constant rain.
This was Harold DeLay's home in Laplace a week after the storm. Today, a month after Ida, it's still partially gutted. A lifetime of furniture and memories all thrown out from the rain that came through the damaged roof. There's been no insurance settlement, and he's doing most of the work on his own. He's moved his bed to the only functioning room, the den, and he has his TV for the Saints games, surrounded himself also by the true treasures of life, pictures of his family. But still, Harold stays optimistic. Nothing was salvageable.
I had a few little things, minor things, but for the most part of it, pretty much everything in each one of the 3 rooms downstairs, I lost.
So we're at the 1 month anniversary.
Okay.
And it's only a month, but a month of living like this, just emotionally, what do you feel?
I mean, every day, you know, I find myself cleaning up, doing something, like today. I mean, I didn't get a chance to show y'all, but in the bathroom down the hall, it's dripping now from the little rain that we had just a few minutes ago. And, but you know, like I said, every day, it's a struggle, but I've been trying to keep myself busy with work. Different people been calling me. Like I told you last time, I'm a jack of a few trades. So I've been cutting grass, stripping and waxing floors. I didn't clean no cars since the last time I saw y'all. But I just been trying to stay busy. The insurance, I spoke with them. They're doing what they do. I guess it just takes time. Hey, like I said before, God has given me patience. Hey, man, so I'm good.
So you're trying to earn a living.
Yes.
But you don't have as much business.
Right.
You're trying to clean out your house,
right,
restart your life, wait for insurance. Are there times when you're just frustrated?
And sometimes I do, but I tell you, God give me that peace. I see what my grandmother been talking about all her life. Man, my grandmother died at 92, 93 years old, and she's been a church-going woman all my life. My mother, she's preaching right now. So with that being said, I see what they talking about. God will give you that peace in the midst of the storms. And I literally went through a storm. I'm going through a storm of life, but he's awesome. Just know that, he's awesome. No matter what you're going through, he's awesome.
I know the other reason you're happy is the Saints won on Sunday.
What? You already know. Look, I was jumping and hollering in here by myself, enjoying the game, and it was a beautiful game too. Yeah. I love the Camaro caught that little scream. Jameis Winston, you know, he did his thing. Man, it was the defense. Man, what? Man, y'all don't get me started. We're gonna keep this thing straight.
But Taysom hurdled over the line and scored.
Didn't we say he was a beast? We stated that, and he is. He lived up to everything that we said he was. Yeah. So, man, it was just an awesome weekend. And I do have my birthday coming up on this Tuesday, so that's even great too, man. But like I said, man, the summer, you know, really just to just let y'all know where I'm at with it. Yeah. I'm just at peace with it.
Yeah.
And the recovery is moving sporadically. Some people are back open for business, living back in their homes with just some minor damage. Others are still trying to live in homes that are destroyed. When you talk to elected officials down here, what they will tell you is that this natural disaster has turned from that into a humanitarian crisis, a full-blown one, and they are asking for help from all over. Now, we went down the bayou just a little ways here earlier today to try and talk to some people and figure out what they're going through and what their needs are. And we met Juwan Robertson, who's living in basically half a house with 7 people, trying to make it day by day. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. And how much of this house is livable?
Just the front room and the kitchen. Like when you walk through up to the kitchen and the front room, that's it. Everything else destroyed. There's a tent in the front yard. Is somebody living out there? Yes, Marquise, my little brother, stay there, and when the daughters come over, since no mosquitoes and stuff and all the flies up in the house because of the damage and stuff like that, they go in the tent as well. We got another tent for them. So you have 2 tents to escape what's happening inside the house? Yes. How desperate is the situation out here? Like we need any and all help severely, like level 10, 1 through 10, like number 10, because it's not safe at all for the little ones. I mean, I'm a man, so I could bear with it, even though it's uncomfortable, but it's not safe at all.
Juwan has that baby that he was holding in his arms. His girlfriend also gave birth in the days after Ida, so they have a newborn infant who's also living with them in essentially, as I mentioned, half a house. Now, just to give you an example of what his needs are, it's something as simple as having gas, because it's hard to get it down the bayou where he is. So he's literally collecting scrap and trying to sell that in order to get money to pay for gas for his car, to get up into areas that are more populated, to do things like take the children for their doctor's checkups. So that's a desperate need. He even said he needs a cell phone, he needs clothes, they need food, and they are getting that from some people who have generously come down here and tried to help, which has been just an amazing outpouring. But the need is not over.